Hello everyone. This is a Minecraft map that utilizes commands and functions to create a working form of the fictional sport Quidditch. Harry Potter fans should be familiar with it. This map does a lot of different things. To start with, it uses special items to allow controlled flight in survival mode, and it also works to automate the game and track the scores of the two teams. I'm going to go through a few of these things to showcase what this map can do. Before I jump into it, I want to mention that I have playtested this with a group, and it has generally been a good time. A few clips from games will be included at the end of the video. So when you first get into this map, there's going to be this lobby. This is where you'll spawn at. So there's this kind of information room here. You can right click on these signs and get some information. These signs. And then the pitch is out there, so the field. And then there's a custom game door over here, and a standard game door over here. So the way you're going to open these up is you're going to have players stand on each of these pressure plates. That will open the side that you want to access. And if you want to go into the other side, then you just have to stand on the pressure plates on the other side. But this will shut the other side and teleport everyone out of there, so that you can't do both at once, because that could create conflicts. Now, a standard game is basically automated, so that's if you don't want to think too much about what you're doing, you just want to play a classic game, and you don't want necessarily to give random players the ability to mess with the setup of the game. You can use a standard game, because there's just the sign to click on in there. Now, if you want to do a custom game, you can go in here, and there'll be some options. I'll show these in a minute, and then you can select which teams and which positions you actually want to play. Now it's suggested, it says over here, it's a good idea to have the same number of each type of player on each team. So if there's one seeker on each team, that's good. If you have a keeper on one team, you should probably have one on the other team. If you have 3 chasers on one team, you should probably have 3 chasers on the other team. That seems to work the best as far as balance goes. But this is all open for you to choose if you choose this side. The other side, it's more automated. So the first thing that's different is tridents, and you'll see I have one in my hotbar here. Every player on each team gets a trident, and the trident lets you fly. If you hold the trident in your hand, you will slowly hover upwards. So if you are holding this, you'll go up slowly. If you look up, you'll go up faster. And then if you hold shift, or if you look down, you will drop. Moving forward is done by holding down the right mouse button on the trident, throwing it. It uses the Riptide enchantment, so the rain is necessary for play, and so that's a permanent feature of the map. Also mention that the broom does tell you how to fly in case you forget. So the next item on the list is this, the Chaser Stick, which is named after the spell. And this steals the Quaffle from the player nearest the bobber. So when you are near another player who has the ball, and I'll explain how you can tell that in a minute, you cast it, and then if that bobber is the closer to the player with the ball than anyone else, then it will steal the ball. And I will try to include some video clips that demonstrate that. So the other item which I don't have is the Keeper Stick, and that will deflect balls that are in the air, so that if someone tries to throw a ball in the hoop and you are a keeper, you can fly down next to them, hit the stick, and it will send it flying. And that's a carrot on a stick, so you just have to right click it and it will automatically activate. Chasers and keepers, for those who don't know, are the offensive and goalkeeping players on a Quidditch team, and they play with the Quaffle. So I'm going to start a game here just to get a Quaffle going. So the main ball is the Quaffle, a diamond entity which you want to throw through those golden hoops. The Quaffle has no gravity, so it won't fall, and throwing it through the hoop earns your team 10 points. Okay, so the Quaffle, for one thing, will give a glowing effect to the person holding it. So if I throw it, you can see I immediately stop glowing. And if I pick it up, I have glowing again. Also, the Quaffle shimmers in the air, so that even if you are quite far away from it, or if it's turned sideways, you can still tell where it is. So both those help with visibility down the field. So obviously the thing that you want to do with this is go over to the other team's hoop, and you want to, and I'm not really flying right now, I'm kind of flying with creative mode, but so you want to throw it through, and it'll do that. It'll give you the score, it'll teleport everyone back to their side of the field, and it will spawn the Quaffle back on the other team's side of the field. Another type of ball are these bludgers flying around, so they give you blindness if you get too close to them, and they will chase players randomly. So the last type of ball is this golden snitch here. So the snitch is a little bit controversial. Normally, when the snitch is caught by a team seeker, that grants the team 150 points and the game ends. This isn't very practical for competitive play, so I have included, and this is blocked off because there's a game active, but I have included snitch modifiers, so you can turn off the snitch or change the amount of points it's worth. To make it a little more practical depending on whether you want to play competitive or not, but if you're a purist, you can just set it to 150 and go do that, and it is kind of fun. It kind of gives you that edge of, well, if I'm within that point range, then there's still a chance of me winning, even if I'm a little bit down in points, and points go really fast in this game. The other option is the timer, so you can set a time limit. You can see that upgrade updates. And then if I go, okay, so I made a mistake. You do have to actually toggle the time limit on. So now you can see on the sidebar, the clock is now set. And let's refresh that. Okay, so that is 1 minute. Let's see. Then, yeah, so now it's a 20-minute timer. And so we go out here, and we start a new game. And we do ready up. And so all but 2 of the players, and not counting opted out players, have to be readied up before the game can begin. So, and that also applies to ending the game, so you have to all ready up and then end a game, so that you have, it's basically a voting system. So countdown started, game begins in 30 seconds. So when that starts, the clock will count down. That's how much time is remaining in minutes. And so you can do that instead of the snitch, if that's how you want to play it. In any case, the snitch is a tiny gold nugget that is very hard to spot and very hard to catch, so I'm not going to demonstrate it in this video, because it can take 10 to 20 minutes, or 40 minutes if your seeker isn't very good. Sometimes it can take 30 seconds, just depends. That's why it's not necessarily a very good mechanic for a competitive game. So one more thing that I want to clarify as well is that if you accidentally drop items, which happens a lot because you are throwing the Quaffle with Q, if you accidentally drop an item, you'll immediately get it back, and that includes everything. And one thing to point out is that, just to demonstrate, because you are switching off of the broom to throw the Quaffle, you will actually start dropping, which means you want to do it quickly, and I actually like that because it introduces a little bit of skill to it. So I missed there. Let's go back over here, and boom, and nope, missed it again. Let's do a little more accurate this time. And there it is. And if you're in survival mode, obviously if you hit the ground really hard, you're going to die. And if you die, well, let's just go ahead and mode survival. Let's go up really high. And you cannot go outside of the bounds. There's an invisible barrier thing around and a height limiter. As you can see, watching my Y value, it will never go above about 240. So it will never go above that point. So now to demonstrate what happens when you die, you automatically get sent to a queuing station where you can move around a little bit, but yeah, you're stuck up here. And the ball will, if you're holding the ball, it'll fall out of your body wherever you died. So that is about it. I hope you guys enjoyed watching. I'll put in a few clips of gameplay with a few teams, and then yeah, that'll wrap it up. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and if you want to play on this yourself, you can feel free to download it in the link. down in the description.